Morning, morning, monsters. You may recognize the setup of Spelunky, and it's a bit of a throwback, if you will. Used to, way back when, this actually used to be quite a tradition of playing Spelunky before work, only for YouTube, not for Twitch, because what I'd do is I'd record it in the highest possible quality, and then I would upload it to YouTube with some commentary. And I thought I would do that because, well, I want to try a few different things with the morning stuff, and I also just want to talk a bit about how, oh dear, daily challenge right off the bat, bold. I also want to talk a bit about how the format's changing. So, and by the format, I mean not my channel, I mean the medium. Because it was really interesting, because one of my coworkers yesterday came into the kitchen and was like, "Hey, so Claire, what's the deal with Twitch and YouTube and all this thing?" And I started trying to explain it to him, and then I was like, you know what? Talking to you about, oh, fuck's sakes, I am so out of practice. That's fine. If we die too fast, we'll do a second run, because there is a certain amount of talking that I want to do. Because it used to be back in the day that I would, yeah, there we go. It used to be back in the day that I'd run Spelunky once, and if it was a very short run, it would be a 2-minute video. If it was a long run, it would be a longer video. But whatever. We haven't played in a very long time, and we want to get through it all. And I tried to explain it all to him. And eventually, after a long explanation where I explained a bunch of it, I said, you know what? Your question is kind of like coming to me and going, what's the deal with this hedge fund shorting Apple stock? And there is a simple answer to that question, but the more complex answer really depends that you have some frame of reference for what's going on in the stock market and what's going on in tech stocks, and also other things that are affecting the commodities and stuff. And obviously you can always give the sort of simple synopsis, the sort of 5-pointer, but it is quite tough. I've been watching a lot of commentators lately really talking in depth on this, and if you're interested in it, I'd highly recommend checking out Devon Nash and a few other commentators on the space. There's no shortage of them. There's a lot of commentators that specialize in it, but it got me. The reason I wanted to talk about it is because after going to TwitchCon and realizing that Twitch, for example, is in the middle of this pivot, their rebrand and everything they're doing at the moment is about broadening their reach. Twitch has always had a really solid base in the gaming community, but it's in an interesting place now, because I think it's grown as much as it can sort of naturally grow within the video game bubble it has, or this hardcore video game bubble. But of course, video games itself is not a very small niche. It's quite a massive, and there's no way we can get that without triggering the altar and lugging back a damsel in the dark. So it's tricky. So there's no way of, this is also one of the reasons why I haven't been spelunking and talking, I've been just talking, because no matter how reflex the game is, you will talk about the game. But yeah, no matter how the broad the gaming market is, the section of it that is like core Twitch people is really small. And once people actually start watching Twitch, they usually find a streamer that they enjoy and get along with, because there's such a variety of content. So the real challenge is to get them to spend any real time on the platform. And I don't say that Twitch is the best thing since sliced bread. I think it's more down to just the fact that this is a new media, and that is true as well for YouTube and other modern information sources. Oh dear. So the same could be said for YouTube and other places where you could go watch people. If you spend enough time there, you'll find a streamer or a YouTuber or a broadcaster of some description, they'll fit your taste. So Twitch has really just got an expansion problem, right? And I remember having a conversation with Alex Evans about this ages back, because I was, long before I joined Media Molecule, I was advising them on Twitch stuff and consulting via Sony. I could rob you. I really want to rob you. Fuck it. It's been too long. Let's rob you. We used to always rob the shopkeeper because it just got us into so much trouble. And to be fair, most of my deaths in Spelunky are shopkeeper deaths, where an angry shopkeeper kills me. So anyway, long before I started Media Molecule, I was at this central tech role in Sony, and I was consulting with Media Molecule about Dreams and Twitch and other big stuff. Hey, Tap. And the thing that basically was funny with Evans is he's not a big gamer, if you know what I mean. Like, he doesn't play games a lot. I think no one who's as prolific a coder as him could be, because his hobby is basically spent making stuff. Okay, yeah, okay, cool. That is going to be a very hard sell to get the damsel down without killing her. But he basically, once he had spent some time on Twitch, because initially he didn't get it, that's why he uses inverted. Well, actually, that was a misunderstanding. The format, the format he uses, like, he misnamed it when he first described it. There's a bit of a thing. Anyway, sidetrack. The important note is that once he actually spent some time watching Twitch, he was like, oh shit, of course I love Twitch because I've always enjoyed watching people play video games. He just didn't think about it like that. And of course, that's the other thing, is Twitch is so much broader than that. But it is a bit harder. Like, I think if you're doing non-game content, oh god damn it, I thought there was a shorter drop than there was. If you're doing non-game content, let's sacrifice her. Yeah, let's sacrifice her. I'd say the other platforms will treat you better than Twitch will. So as Twitch sort of tries to expand their live offering, it's going to be an interesting challenge to see how they. Oh, fuck's sakes. Okay, yeah, no, I'm not scared of you, Ghosty. I'm scared of the spider. There we go. So now for the ghost is no real threat because it's nice and slow. We just need to make sure the ghost is lured up high so we can go under. No, maybe. No, this is just our morning stream where we chat away. But I'm using. Oh, for fuck's sakes! Look away for 1 second. Why don't you, Claire? I'm using Spelunky because apparently I'm very rusty and I want to die in Spelunky. I'm using Spelunky because the point I was about to just make, in that the just chatting and the IRL, which are these huge buckets for this kind of content, this sort of chat format content, have a real toxicity problem with on Twitch, and it's kind of a known thing. And you know, I've done stand up. I've been heckled on stage. It's a thing. It's okay. The difference is if you've got hecklers in a physical performance venue, it's quite easy to deal with them. Oh shit, that was unlucky. It's quite easy to deal with them. There's sort of agreed techniques, social norms. Everyone kind of knows how to deal with a heckler if you've spent any time on stage. It's a thing. But unfortunately, YouTube's got this not YouTube, Twitch has got this toxicity problem. YouTube has a different kind of toxicity problem it has to deal with, which means that doing, like, if you were to do a cooking show on Twitch, you'd probably end up under the creative category and you'd probably be fine. But if you're doing a lot of media that makes up sort of YouTube and whatnot, you would attract a lot of the thought commentary, a lot of the sort of general gamer culture in the worst. And I say that when it's not actually gamer culture, it's a very, very small segment and stuff, and it's mostly teenagers and mostly bored people, and they're quite easy to deal with, but it's tiring. It is tiring. So yeah, it's interesting because, as I say, like Alex Evans would have never, outside without the influence of Dreams, I don't think he would have ever really checked out Twitch as much. And like if you've seen the Twitch music community, it's just Git culture. I like that. I like that Git culture. He would never really have checked out Twitch because he wouldn't have had the incentive to. I think I'm going to have to go this way. So this is the problem that Twitch is basically facing, is how do we get all these people who we know that if they spent any time on our platform would find the person they want to find. And that's a secondary problem of discovery, helping them find the streamer that's actually to their taste and to their flavor. That's a secondary issue that Twitch has got to resolve. But the bigger issue is just to get people to give the platform a chance. And by a chance, I don't mean visit the website once. I mean actually spend some time to, because no matter how good your discovery algorithms and your tools are, the person's going to have to spend some time on the platform to find content they like, unless you're able to target them very successfully off platform and use content to bring people onto platform. And that's also one of the reasons why all the acquisitions of talent that have been done with YouTube and Mixer have been so hyper-targeted. No, don't go that way. The shopkeeper will steal you from me. They have been so hyper-targeted because people are like, we can take Ninja, we can take Goliath, and we can put them on morning talk shows. We can put them on late night talk shows. We can sort of expose them to this stuff, and they're gonna fuck it in the finest traditions of Spelunky. Let's just kill the fucker, because we do have a time limit, I'm afraid. Even if we're going to hell, we do have a time limit. I need to get into work to deal with the thing on time, so I can't run late today. So it's a real marketing problem. It's a real issue. And as I said, this is really a wider platform thing, but it's important for people on these kind of platforms to be aware of what's happening with the platform wars and to be aware of the economics of it, right? Like, realistically, how do you make money on Twitch? How do you expect to make money? How do you engage? Is Twitch a platform where you're making revenue? Is Twitch a platform where you're expanding your audience? Can you survive as a single platform content creator anymore? And on the single platform content creator point, I think pretty much everyone is in agreement you can't. You have to be a multi-platform content creator at the moment. Even if you have Twitch or YouTube or TikTok or whatever as your primary, you have to be reaching out to your audience on other platforms, because frankly that's what Twitch and that's what not so much YouTube's kind of got everyone on board. They just need to improve their watch figures and improve their stats. So for Twitch it's more okay, with that we're going to just sort of wrap up on the stream because I don't want to start another one. I'm just going to mute the desktop audio for a sec. So yeah, the big challenge you have, it's going to be really weird. I want to talk to the mic because normally my camera's over there for the morning chat, but now it's over there. We'll work on the format. We'll figure bits out. I think everyone agrees that even if you are going to be a single platform creator, you have to build out a way to bring audience in from other sources. So it's very tricky for me to talk about dream stuff without exposing internal information, but it's also the thing I'm most knowledgeable about, which is why I want to kind of use it as my reference point. So I will mention dream streaming as an example, but I will try to stay away from specifics, because otherwise I think it's going to sound contrived. If you are a dream streamer at the moment, the number of people playing dreams at the moment is X. That number will go up in the future. Everyone kind of expects that, but that's sort of your inbuilt audience. The number of people on Twitch is Y, and the number of people on YouTube is Z or whatever, and you've got to sort of plot how do people find your content, what is the content you are trying to produce for them? Like, how do you say, okay, this is the package. If you give me 1 minute, I can convince you to stay, right? And then where do you funnel that audience to? And finally, and I honestly, I don't think this is even a point people should be considering until they have quite an established audience, or at least they should never take early action on this, is how do I then convert that audience into leverage, into finance, into, you know, how do I make this sustainable? And sustainability is everything. It's what every video game maker, it's what every comic artist, it's what everyone's aiming for, is sustainability. And so, for example, with the book stuff, we've got a 10-year sustainability plan with that. Of the company gets profitable in 10 years. And when we sat down, we did the numbers. That's kind of what we had to do. And so we, knew that we were going to have secondary income supporting, like our primary income supporting the secondary hustle, the book venture. So when you're doing this kind of content, you're like, okay. So let's take the example of I've decided to be a dream streamer. That's going to be my primary content production. Now, the first thing you've got to realize is you haven't decided to be a Twitch streamer. You've decided to be a dream streamer. And then you've got to look at your streaming platforms, right? You've got Twitch is the obvious choice. It's the market leader. It's dominant. It's built for games. It's the native choice. Mix is just a no-go in this case because it's owned by Microsoft and you're streaming a Sony game, and it's probably just long-term not a good decision. But if you weren't doing it, Mixer might be a thing you consider for various reasons. I think there's reasons not to do Mixer. Again, I'm not going to go into the whole thing. There's really deep channels that'll slice and divide all of this. YouTube's streaming offering at the moment isn't great, and their game integration is awful, and a lot of their content discovery is not great, but it's also the best technical solution, and it's also where inevitably your VODs are going to live, right? So maybe YouTube's the obvious choice. But as I say, again, you've got to think about audience build-up and all that stuff. But obviously Facebook is the other elephant in the room. But Facebook, I'm going to have a hard time talking about Facebook because I just think they're evil. But anyway, regardless, you've picked your platform. Okay, in this case, I'm going to assume you've picked Twitch for various reasons. So now you're a streamer, you're producing content on Twitch. You've got this built-in audience of people who play the game, most of which you don't watch Twitch. And most of you don't watch Twitch. Now, how do you grow and expand this audience? Now, yes, small audience is a big offering, right? And channels that have to transition from a small audience to a larger audience, it's part of the process. It's something you have to manage. It's the same thing you have to manage if you're an entrepreneur growing a small business. When you're a small business, the advantage is you're a small business. You would be naive not to take advantage of that. If you're a small streamer whose concurrency numbers are below 50, you can do things that any streamer with concurrency numbers above 50 can't do. You should do those things. You should lean into those things. But as you approach your transitional marks, you need to have a plan on how to switch up. And if you don't have a plan on how to switch up, you'll be forever capped in your growth category. And that happens to a lot of people as they switch to partner, because getting to partner is really just the first upgrade step. In partner, there's so many tiers that you can sort of nick up. And I'm using Twitch terminology because we're making the assumption that you're continuing in Twitch, but honestly, this continues regardless. You see this with YouTubers, you see this with TikTokers, you see this across. So you've got this core group, right? And now in Twitch Dreams land, the thing that everyone sort of naturally does, and the thing that used to work really well sort of 4 or 5 years ago, is everyone helps everyone inside of that small community and references each other's channels. But as everyone who streams dreams will know, while some individual streamers may have captured unique audience segments, I'd say the stream viewing community outside of the Media Molecule channel, because the Media Molecule channel is separate and has a large audience segment that the rest of the Dreams community doesn't. The core people who watch Dreams on Twitch is roughly the same for all the channels. I'm making assumptions and I'm really skirting. I'm trying to make this all just public information and very obvious stuff, core principle stuff here. So the next question for you is, how do you expand that out? Now for me, for my channel and for what I want to do, because as I say, this is not a business for me. Books are the business. Me being creative in my side time and in my primary job as a business. So for me, having my Twitch as a space I can relax and express and point people to the work I'm doing, that's kind of my goal, right? And because of that, and because of the things that I discovered from taking a year off from not doing talks at conferences, I realized I actually like doing talks. Prepping talks and travel kind of sucks. I want to build this morning show format so that I can do these small segments of content, keep that particular public speaking muscle fresh and new, work through potential content pipelines, figure that stuff out, and primarily produce this as a live for tape show for YouTube. And the reason is that I know, I'm just going to take my headphones off because I'm not playing Spelunky, so I don't need them. I know that most of the viewing audience, the thing that I want is at the end of 2020, I want to be able to look and go, hey, I did this many morning streams, this amount of content was really solid VOD content that I uploaded to YouTube that gets re-referenced. You'll notice I selectively upload the VODs of these streams. And there's a library of content that's worked on. I've developed that skill set. That's all good. That's my onboarding. That's personal to me. But for instance, let's say you're a dream streamer and you're streaming a bunch of this content, right? You've now got this native Twitch content. You've got this native Twitch audience. How do you expand out from that? Well, the obvious thing is VODs. Everyone will do that, VODs. The next thing I'd say, though, is clips, highlights, right? So Twitch has a whole bunch of tools for clipping and highlighting. If you're a Twitch affiliate, you need to be aware of the exclusivity agreements around that and segments on that. But any way you can take bits of shorter form content out from your longer stream, whether that's things that you consciously doing during your 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, whatever it is stream, you consciously take 1 minute to make the thing that crunches down. So like when we did the Deliver Ramen sketches on stream, at the end of making this little sketch, we very specifically recorded out the short video we had made, and we only sent the short video we made to YouTube. That was kind of that stratagem. But likewise, you can do the same thing of, let's prep this screenshot or this short form, 5-10 second clip to an Instagram story, to TikTok, to whatever. Think about your actual framing and device delivery and push that out. And think about what your call to actions are, right? Because if you're putting out content to Twitter, say, or you're putting out content to TikTok or Snap or Stories or whatever, you've got to have that content packaged in a format that's palatable and chunky for that. That's really nice and tasty. Like people who are on Instagram won't go, whoa, that's Twitch content. They'll think, oh, this is Instagram content. And then you need to have a call to action in there. Now, you don't have to have a call to action in every piece of media you post. Again, there's good marketing guidelines about all of this. But you need to know what your purpose is in posting that content, and you need to know how you're going to take that attention and eventually action it. So, it's good that like in your bio you have your links to your various things so people can find your other stuff, but also you've got stronger scheduling tools. You know how to direct that attention, and that's really what you've got to do. You've got to grow it out. And the big lesson from the stream wars and from all of this stuff that's going on at the moment is a lot of the organic discovery is I'm not going to say it's on the decline, but the game has totally changed. The stuff that worked 2 years ago doesn't work now. The stuff that worked a year ago, frankly, doesn't work now. I've noticed that as sort of view patterns have changed on the channel and on stuff, prior to switching to Dreams, because switching to Dreams kind of changed up the channel's entire dynamic. But going back to the variety stuff. So yeah, that's all been fun. I know we did a bunch of Spelunky and a little bit of talking at the end, but I think that's all good. We're gonna end the recording there, and I hope that's helped.